Britain's Home Secretary has confirmed that the founder of Wikileaks, Julian Assange, has been arrested in London. Assange is said to be in police custody and will face trial in the UK. His arrest came after the Ecuadorian government withdrew his asylum. Assange has been living at the Ecuadorian embassy in London since taking refuge there in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden over accusations of sexual assault. Assange also feared extradition to the US for publishing thousands of classified military and diplomatic cables through Wikileaks. And for the very latest, let's go now to our London correspondent, Birgit Maas. Birgit, what more can you tell us about Assange's arrest?
Well, the interesting thing is that the Metropolitan Police are saying they have been invited into the embassy. Now, for all these last 7 years, there was always this kind of standoff. And the question was, is Julian Assange ever actually going to leave this embassy? He was really confined to these spaces. He had sometimes had some rare appearances on the balcony and then usually had crowds of supporters cheering to him. He had the world media speculating as to what will happen. Now, this has gone on for a very long time, and now he is in British custody, and the police are saying that he will face the court, the British Magistrate Court, as soon as possible. What will then happen remains to be seen. There is the accusation in the UK is that he violated his bail conditions all the way back in 2012, and this is why he would face the courts here. But then, of course, is the question about his wider future and whether he might eventually face trial in the US.
Okay, Birgit, now Julian Assange has been in the Ecuadorian embassy since 2012, as we mentioned. Remind us about how he got there in the first place.
Well, he got there because he got asylum. He felt that he was unfairly accused of sexual violations. That was an offence that happened in Sweden. He was accused of sexual offences in Sweden, and he said this was all set up against him, that this was just in order to, from Sweden, if he had to face trial in Sweden, that he would then, that would have been a con to eventually extradite him to the US. So that was his justification as to whether he did never want to face that trial in Sweden. So that was the original, legal case against him. Now, since then, I understand that these charges have been dropped, the Swedish charges, and the UK charges are still standing. And of course, his wider faith is whether he is going to face any trial ever in the US.
And Birgit, do we know why the Ecuadorian embassy decided to hand him over to the police?
Well, we know that since Ecuador had a change of government, the position towards Julian Assange has changed. And indeed, there have been accusations by Wikileaks that Julian Assange has been closely monitored. There has been a video and audio documentation of what he was doing in the embassy. This is something that Wikileaks is accusing the embassy of. So the whole conditions and the whole goodwill he had with the former Ecuadorian government seems to have evaporated now.
Right, that dramatic end to a long, drawn-out saga. Birgit Maas in London, thank you very much for that.